promotions, especially housed in this sinister structure.
Yo, what up? Smacked Raw Pod. This is Calavera Comedy with Sebastian from Wrestling Fan _32, bringing you our reactions, basically our recap of what was an amazing show in NXT TakeOver Toronto, man. What a freaking show, dude! Like just from beginning to end, just the perfect crescendo, man. Like it was amazing. We're gonna be taking over the Smack Raw Pod today from your usual, Kai Tai show and Two Words Can't See Me, Rob Roode and Kai Tai. They're out doing some business, I guess. I don't know, some black market deals. We'll find out. We'll do some investigative journaling. We'll get to the bottom of it. Don't you worry.
It'll all come out. It'll all come out in there.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see it over here on. It's gonna hit the timeline once you find out that these black market deals these guys are doing.
You got a journalism for that? You gotta be joking me!
But in the meanwhile, we're bringing you what our freaking, like, what would you even say it, dude? I don't even have words. I'm still like on a high from this takeover, man. Like that last match just took me out, man. I never would have expected anything like that.
They really they had a lot of twists with this cage with the weapons, and I mean I was expecting a cage or a ladder match, but I wasn't expecting, it was kind of like the Asylum match from Bronson Jericho.
I feel like this is what it should have been. Like the brutality, dude. When he DDT'd Cole onto that chair, like head first, it hit, man. I don't know how these guys do it, man. I really don't.
These guys are gonna need a couple of days off.
Hell yeah. So we got the opening match, which was the Street Profits versus Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish to start off this show. This could have been a main event, man. What a fucking opener, man.
Anytime they go with a tag team match, which honestly, if you go back, that's 90% of the openers. It feels like.
Yeah.
But they always deliver the tag team matches too on TakeOver.
Dude, just to see how far the Street Profits have come, man. They have so much confidence right now, man. They just own that stage.
I didn't expect the outcome either, man. I mean,
oh, you thought that Undisputed Era was going to take it?
Absolutely. Like, I thought that was the safest bet on the card. Like, that's how confident I was.
Let's see. Who predicted the Street Profits winning? There's quite a few. There were not a lot of us. A lot of doubters out there. A lot of people didn't think that your boys were going to pull through.
I don't know. There was a certain file got corrupted, so I can't. I have no memory of it.
The dream has
no memory of that.
Yo, this match was perfect, classic tag team wrestling, man. Like you could not ask for a better tag team match. Just the chemistry between all four of these men, dude. Like they just knocked it out of the park, dude. It was they got people on their feet just from the first match alone.
Oh yeah, as soon as the match started and Dawkins put him in a corner and was like, talking to smack, and Kyle slapped him, dude, it was on from there. I mean, it never slowed down.
It was you had a moments of back and forth. Like I legitimately had no idea. I mean, of course I was going for Street Profits, but I was just like, wait a minute. Undisputed Era might take this, man. I don't know. Shit's about to go down once Kyle O'Reilly starts with his facial expressions.
Man.
That dude
I love Kyle O'Reilly.
Dude is so expert. Dude's a beast. So
like he is.
Go ahead.
He is made for social media, dude, with them facial expressions.
That guy's a walking meme.
Yes. But man, it was a great opener. It back and forth. A lot of spots that really stood out, whether it was the Kyle O'Reilly having Hawkins and the what was the submission when Ford came off with the blockbuster?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Guillotine.
He had a guillotine on him, and then Montez
guillotine.
Ford. Yeah,
Uh,
the monster blockbuster.
the double spears toward the end. Kyle O'Reilly jumping off the top with his knee and going into Ford's Achilles and then going into Achilles hook
Whew.
right after. I mean, so many, just certain spots stuck out, but it was a great match.
I gotta say, Dawkins has probably one of the best spears out there right now.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
He
I mean,
runs.
both of them.
He runs.
Both of them that was mean.
Yeah, yeah. He runs at people like the water boy, like he's picturing them. Like, it just charged, man. He hits. I don't know who has a better spear right now today. I don't know, man. This guy has such impact on it.
Man, Bobby Fish is the KO of the NXT out there on the apron talking shit the whole time.
Yeah.
like I was entertained by him just when he was out there talking shit.
Talking shit, man. But Street Profits end up taking this one, man, and it felt good, man. It just everything felt right, man. It felt deserved. It felt earned. It felt like it wasn't cheap, you know, like it was a legit win.
Yeah, it was, and good for him. Like I said, I expected unexpected, or I thought it was the safest bet on the card. Like if somebody said I had to bet 500 on the match, it'd have been it.
Ooh.
Just with Street Profits doing what they're doing on Raw, not being in the ring, I felt like they was going to get the titles off of them before they started having them wrestle
Right.
on the main roster. Like, so many things just said Street Profits are losing this match. And, you know, they didn't. Good for them, and it was a great match, and I'm excited to see where their journey goes now.
I think they have to really solidify themselves as champions now. Like you can't say they're just like a one and done type thing at all.
Oh no, I mean they beat Oni and Lorcan and Birch on NXT TV, and now this. So yeah, it's not a fluke win. They're legitimate.
That's so. What match do we have next? We had what?
Io Shirai and Candice LeRae.
Io Shirai and Candice LeRae. Yo, Candice LeRae. Yo, she showed out today. Like
They both did. Like this match was.
Whew. Go ahead, say it. Say it. Say it. Say it with your chest.
You could make the argument it was the second best match of the night.
Straight up. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Candice,
you can make the argument.
Yeah. She really showed,
Story-wise.
Candice LeRae was finally really able to show what she can do. She's mostly been regulated to, like, pre-show matches and tag teams, whatever. This is, I believe it's her first singles match at the TakeOver. And
I think it's her first match, period. No, did she have a multi-person match at TakeOver?
I think it was a tag team, I think. But I know for sure this is her first singles match. And she did not hold anything back, and Io brought it just as well, man. I was least expecting this to be as good as it was. I thought, like, Io's just gonna come in, beat this girl down, show what's up, and that's gonna be it.
And that was the way it was going at the beginning. The first third of the match, it was Io dominating.
Yo, Candice LeRae hit that reversed her Karana mag with such so brutal.
That suplex on the announce table, that was awesome.
Yeah, like if y'all did not see this TakeOver, first of all, what the hell's wrong with you? Second of all, if you're gonna see any match, not even just men or women, just any wrestling match in general from this show, this match was one of them. It was. You got everything you want. You got technical wrestling. You got the high spots, storytelling. Like you had everything into this one little match. You could not ask for more.
And going in, this was the most questionable match of the night for me. I thought it was going to be a good match, but like you said, it was Candice's first one-on-one match at TakeOver, and Io's first match as a heel. So I was interested to see, just what they put together, and they delivered in every way. And I know Io had a heel run in Japan, Stardom, whatever what women's promotion is over there. Is it Stardom?
Yeah, she had a little run to Stardom, also in Lucha Underground. She had a little heel work.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. So this was, other than the promos and stuff on the weekly TV we've had here lately, this is the first match I've seen Io work heel, and she delivered me. I really enjoyed this match.
Like, just the way she expresses herself with her face, like, you buy in, you believe everything she's about.
Oh, and cocky as fuck, man.
Right?
Candace went for that Hurricanrana, and she just flipped through it, no problem, and
just
Jesus.
shrugged her shoulders like, what, that was it? You thought you were doing something?
Yeah, and, you know, I'm interested. I would have to say they have another match coming. I don't think this is the end of the feud.
No, if this branches out into a feud, man, it's going to be one of the best things at NXT.
Yeah, I think this is a feud. I mean, when you just look at the depth chart, I don't know where either one of them go other than that. Unless you jump Candace up into the title feud and drop Yim to Io. That's about the only other scenario I could see play out.
You think Candice LeRae title shot already, just from one
match?
No,
I'm saying that's the only other route. I mean, if you just look at the depth chart, I don't know, other than Mia, who would get the next shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're definitely a little bit short-handed there with women wrestlers. They have plenty, they just haven't used them.
Especially on the face side. I mean, you got Mia, you got Candice, Dakota Kai, I guess, and Tegan Knox is cleared now. I saw that, so who knows? Maybe they'll bring her back and give her a shot.
Yeah, they have some recovering from injury. They definitely have them there, but this was definitely what should have been Io Shirai's night alone. Quickly became Candice LeRae's as well.
Yeah, it was her coming out party for sure.
Yeah, even if she took the L at the end of the day, which is one of the most literally twisted, vicious submission finishers I've seen in a minute.
Yeah. You grab her hand so she can't tap, and you make her pass the fuck out.
Like
that was awesome.
How the fuck do you get out of that, man? Short of biting somebody, like how? There's no way.
I mean, there's not. I mean, I love the effect of her grabbing her hand so she couldn't tap. Like, that made it for me. Like, she is a badass. Like, you're not tapping. You're going out.
Right. Didn't even give her the option to tap. Like, no. She's like, you thought? Nah, you just gonna lay there and the rest gonna call this because you're not tapping.
Yeah, you're going to sleep.
So that was definitely one of the better matches on this show for sure. Like,
yeah, you got to check it out. I mean, if you're like me and not familiar with Io's heel work and don't know a lot about Candice LeRae, because honestly, just from the NXT TV, it's really hard to think of her as much more as Johnny's wife, because that's most of the time. Mm-hmm. So if you're not familiar with both of them or where they're at right now or whatever, you really need to watch this match. It stands out. Yeah,
she hasn't really been presented. She has been presented a bit, but not as much more than that. She's been more so his wife, whatever. But if you follow her outside of WWE, her independent work, whatever, you know what she can bring to the table. And this was, like you said, for a lot of people that don't know, well, now you know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is a coming out party for both. Not, more Candice than Io, but you know what I mean, as far as people that don't know about her heel work, like I said earlier.
Well, yeah, definitely. Like, a lot of people came in with fresh eyes into this one, and they definitely came out knowing who both of these ladies are.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, what match we had next? Was this the Matt Riddle thing?
Yes, actually, yeah. Yeah.
So then the show gets interrupted by the King of Bros looking for some retribution from Killian Dane. Calls him out. They get into a brawl. Goes up to the stage, and these people, they're just going at it. Start taking out the poor innocent security guards. Getting smashed into the ramp. Getting smashed into the LED board, and then for some reason, unbeknownst to anybody, we got Killian Dane. He just takes Matt Riddle and a security guard just for the hell of it off onto the ramp and onto a table.
And it was literally for the hell of it. Like, if you go back at the replay, he just grabs him on the way. For no reason.
The guy was just standing up like he had...
Killian's like, you're coming with me, boy. And he just took him off.
He just decimated him. So this did not end well for the King of Bros at all. This was not what... I don't think this is what he had in mind.
King of Bros gonna have to quit running that mouth, dude. It's getting him in trouble.
He be running that mouth. Like...
I mean, tomorrow, who knows? Brock might with him. He's still running that, man. Have you seen? I think he posted shortly after the show tonight. Should he go after Goldberg or Brock? Like teasing that stuff still.
Well, he's been trying to go at Brock for years now.
He's really picking it up though, as far as going against the legends on Twitter right now.
Well, for whatever reason, all these WCW guys decided to go at him.
Yeah.
I guess they see him as having a little bit of an attitude, being a new guy or whatever.
Well, as far as Goldberg goes, didn't Riddle shoot the first shot to Goldberg?
Well, yeah, but that was kind of fair. I mean, I guess there's like one of those. I mean, I'm not a wrestler, but I figured it's one of those codes that you don't shoot on somebody, you know, in public light, especially with how they work. I guess it's just like a professional thing.
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of brought out the vets for him. But, yeah, man, he's running his mouth a lot. And I do hope we do get the Riddle and Lesnar match somewhere down the road. I think that'd be real fun.
Well, if anyone's followed Riddle, you know he's been the one wanting to retire Lesnar for years now. Yeah,
he's been wanting that match, and I hope he gets it.
I think, dude, if anyone can whoop Lesnar's ass, it's Riddle. Like, this Riddle's a badass.
Oh, he's gonna so get fined too. If they don't fine him, like he was giving the security guards go to sleep left and right. Fucking, like referees, it didn't matter. I'm surprised the girl ref didn't come out and he just bam, fuck it.
Equal opportunity ass kicker. That's what he is. All right.
Like, the one that went off the stage kind of had a little ponytail. And I thought it was a woman at first till I saw the beard after later. And I was like, oh my God.
Damn. So that was a fun little segment we had after that.
I will throw this out too. Props to Morrow. How many times on the main roster has it's been kind of inconsistent as far as when people come out to pull people apart? You know what I mean?
Right.
And as soon as it started, Morrow was like, and now we have people coming out because this is not a scheduled segment.
Morrow,
bring him up.
Morrow
so
Ronaldo, dude, the god. This guy is so good, man. Like, he's legitimately one of the best commentators we have out here in wrestling, man. Like, not even in wrestling, just in general, man.
I love Morrow, man. He's probably my number one guy. He does kind of, go over the top at times, and I thought he did kind of at times tonight.
Today was a bit much.
But it's entertaining what he does. Like, when Michael Cole goes over or tries, you know what I mean? You're like, rolling your eyes.
It's corny,
but
yeah.
Morrow, when he goes over the top, you're just sitting there like laughing, dude.
Yeah,
it's still entertaining. Like, it don't take anything away from what you see. So I love Morrow.
Yeah, he's good, man. Beth Phoenix and Nigel McGuinness compliment him well. Like, it just works perfectly.
Yeah, Beth is working on it. She's improved a lot, but I think from when she first started.
Yeah, it's with anything, man. You just need repetition and it takes time,
Yeah. And Nigel, of course. Nigel's a real good second guy.
Yeah.
Not just on 205, too. I mean, Nigel just gets it.
Shout outs to 205. All right. And what do we have next? What match was next?
The triple threat.
We got Velveteen Dream versus Roderick Strong versus Pete Dunne. Just those three names alone, yo. That's insane. All right, so we got Velveteen Dream, never to be outdone on an entrance, coming out with the Toronto Raptor dancers. He comes out in full Monty gear, pretty much, Dream style. Dude is just, this guy's just, you want to look up what charisma is, man. You just look at this guy. Like, I don't know who is more charismatic, man. This guy is just insane.
I just hope Vince don't get him, dude. Like, if there's ever one guy you're worried about Vince ruining, I feel like it's that character. I hope to God Vince never touches him.
Yeah, like I don't even know what it would be like, an over the top, like I don't even know what he would do with him. Throw him in some comedy things. I don't know.
And the thing is, he is so young. You can hold him in NXT.
You know,
if you want to.
You know what?
I hope to God.
Vince would probably turn him into the next Goldust.
Shut your mouth.
I'm trying to figure out how this man operates, and I'm pretty sure that's what he would turn him into.
Jesus. Hey, I will say this. Velveteen probably is more, like, since Goldust, I don't think I've seen anyone as invested in their character as Velveteen is.
Yeah, this guy, man, he buys in, man. Like, it's all, like you said, invested into what he's doing, you know, and it's from every little detail, every little thing he's wearing, the way he moves, his moveset. I don't think it's an accident that he purposely does a lot of these moves that a lot of the legends used to do, like the double axe handles, the jump of the second turnbuckle fist drop, like Bret Hart used to do, the ravishing Rick Rude, pelvic grinding, delayed drops, like it's every little thing, man.
He always pays homage to the 2 or 3 legends in his takeover matches. And it was mostly Bret today. He did have a little Rick Rude in there too.
Yeah, man. Just like, it's one of those, I don't even know how to say, man. It's just like one of those guys that, like, if you go back and watch a match, you pick up on things you didn't see the first time, you know? Yeah,
and like I say, he's so young and he's so good. I mean, he has a couple things he needs to work on.
He's only, what, like 23, 24?
23, yeah.
That's crazy, man.
I mean, at times, I think he oversells. Like, sometimes somebody can barely touch him and he'll go flying. I think he needs to work on stuff like that. And there's a couple moments tonight where Pete did his, moonsault outside, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you see Velveteen for no reason. Pete's already in the air, and Velveteen runs to him and just gets knocked out for no reason, with Roderick standing there about to take it by himself.
I think
and there's another one.
At that moment, I think he was just late to that spot, honestly, right there.
Yeah. Thank you, Sissy. But, yeah, I agree, but, like, I would just not do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it makes it look... And there was another time where Roderick did the Olympic slam off the top of Pete.
Mm-hmm.
And Velveteen and Pete was kind of connected, but Pete let go, and for some reason Velveteen,
he
like
just
2 seconds later, that's like a fucking swanton to the mat for no apparent reason. And I'm sitting there like, Velveteen, don't do that, dude. Like no reason at all. Just a full out swanton, pretty much.
I don't know what they were going for. I guess right there, Pete was supposed to hold on to him and arm drag him, but he lost grip or something. I'm not sure what happened there.
I don't either. But, like, just little things like that, dude. Like, when something goes wrong like that, just don't do it. Like, Velveteen could have, I don't know, tried to do a frog splash on Roderick right after that. Roderick moved, and, of course, take that bump, and it'd be about the same thing, but Velveteen don't look bad. You know
I think it's just one of those things, man. It happens so fast, and you're just in the moment, you know? Like, I don't know, man. That always... probably impresses me more than anything out of wrestlers. Like you said, when shit goes wrong, how do you improvise that? How do you think of what to do in the moment? You know, there's a lot of examples in wrestling of guys who know how to handle that. You know, maybe that just comes with experience. You know.
Yeah, and that's what I said. He's so young. He is. He's real young. He's real young, and he has plenty of time to improve. And that's why I hope, like I said earlier, I hope Vince never touches him. He's 23. keep him in NXT for 4 more years if you got to. Just keep him away from Vince. He's so young, you got the time to do it.
But not to be outdone, Pete Dunne was getting it in today, man. A lot of people thought he would just come in to be the fall guy, and man,
technically take the fall.
He did, but he stood out at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, this is one of those guys that maybe people now don't really watch, don't really know what he's about or what he can do.
Yeah, and how crazy is it? Velveteen's 23 and Pete Dunne's 25.
Just look at that, man. 23 and 25. That's crazy.
So, yeah. And I think they said that Pete started training when he was 12.
Yeah. He started training when he was 12. He was trained with Tyler Bate, Mark Andrews, those guys. They all started around pretty much the same age. Really young. I think they just started backyard wrestling and it just picked up from there. It's crazy, man. This is like legitimate prodigies.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just one of those things, man. When you have the passion for something and it's just in you to do it. You know, you're gonna go out and do it. You know.
Oh, absolutely, and great for him. I mean, a lot of people would think going out and doing that at 12-year-old is insane, but look where he's at now. I mean, his life is made because of it.
Sheesh, man, who you telling? And look so we have all these 2 young guys, right? These young bloods over here killing it over. But then we got on the other end of the spectrum, Roderick Strong, who's been pretty much doing it almost as much as these guys have been alive, man. And he kept up with both of them, man. If not, had more energy than both of them combined. Like that. Dude, Roderick Strong is just a stamina monster, man.
They are. All 3 of them had a great performance. There's a few moments where I felt, if you've listened to this before and heard me, I don't like the spots where you can tell that it's completely choreographed, I guess. And there's a few of those spots today in this match, but other than that, man, it was a heck of a match. I think 4 out of 5 matches tonight were excellent.
Yeah, man, it's just like, you can't even find really much wrong with them, just aside from like little nitpicking here and there, you know?
Like I said, like the choreographed stuff, that's nitpicking. That's just me. I'm not a fan of those spots.
Right.
But, it's nothing major. I can deal with it, and they made up for it. The match was great.
There was a lot of moments where I was like, do they not?
It was clunky at times. It was clunky, don't get me wrong, but
for me, it was just like, these people have no regard for their own safety, man. Like, these guys were just killing each other, dude. Some of these spots were just like, what the fuck are you guys thinking? Y'all are crazy, but it's fucking awesome.
Oh, man. And there's a couple of them little oversell moments by Velveteen this too. I remember early in the match, Velveteen was like on the apron and Roderick and Pete was inside the ring, and Roderick, I think, just gave him a right hand.
And he went flying
backwards. And fucking Velveteen did a backflip off the apron. So, I love Velveteen.
But you know what? Like, it feels over the top, but at the same time, it's like,
it's part of his character.
Yeah, it fits so well with I was about to say that, with his character. It just fits with what he's doing, you know?
Yeah, that's what I say. I love him for it. I think it's so funny. And like, with his character, it works, but if he was ever to change his character, I think he needs to kind of improve on that. But, man, I love Velveteen.
It's kind of like, that Batista oversell with Mark Henry from the rope.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, if I had to pick 2 people 10 years from now to be, well, I don't know about 10, because I think the other one's in his early 30s. I think the future of the company right now, I think it's Drew McIntyre and Velveteen Dream. That's how high I am.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't be wrong, man. Drew McIntyre is another guy who just completely reinvented himself, man, and invested the same as with Velveteen Dream, just invested into what they're doing, just into their character, and put in the work just to, I don't know, whatever you have to tell yourself in your mind. Maybe you want to prove people wrong. Maybe you want to prove it to yourself. Whatever you got to do. But
And props to Drew, dude.
Yeah,
Props
man.
to him.
Because he could have been one of those guys that, like, had everything in his hands, didn't work out for him, and then just gave up. You know, just fuck it. I'm just going to coast on my name, and that's it. Nah, look at his physique, first of all, when he was in WWE to now. Two different people, man.
No, he went out, and, you know, there's a couple interviews with Drew out there he dropped right after getting released, and he even said in his mind it was more like a challenge to see what he could go out there and do. It's
one of those guys. The same like with like a Cody Rhodes or those type of guys that basically grew up in WWE, WWF, whatever. That's all they know because of their family or whatever. That's all they know. They don't know anything outside of it. So once, like you said, those guys go out of WWE, it's like, okay, am I as good as I think I am, or am I just only good because I'm in this bubble? You know.
Oh man, he proved he's as good as he thinks.
Shoes, man, and yeah, in the Indies, killed it, came back. Killing it, and you know, within what he can do, you know, there's always up on that main roster. There's a you know how it is up there, dude. You're just constrained. You can't be what you want to be. But you know what, like you said, Drew McIntyre is he's got so much potential that you can't. As much as they might try to, they can't stop it. It's one of those guys that you just cannot stop. Same thing with Velveteen Dream, man. Like, it's just, he's got so much upside that no matter what happens, if Vince tries to, you know, get his hands on it or whatever, like, he's those type of guys that it's not gonna, in my mind, I don't see that affecting him. I don't see that as, like, okay, that's gonna be the end of him, that's gonna ruin his career. Like, I feel like he has enough drive and creative, like, just a mind that he can definitely work around it.
And two, you see like these guys that's homegrown, like a Braun Strowman, like a Alexa Bliss. You know, they came up and had success. Velveteen's homegrown. I mean, he's not one of these indie darlings that Vince. You know what the reputation's with Vince is.
Right.
He likes people coming through their system, and Velveteen has, and I think that would play a big part in it if he did have success. And he's so charismatic. Like, I don't know if this is a stretcher or not, but I see a lot of The Rock, like, promo work, you know what I mean? I mean, he captures the room when he walks in.
Yeah.
A lot.
As soon as that little snap hits or the music hits or whatever, as soon as whatever he does, as soon as he's on that TV screen, whatever, you're focused on him. You're not even really paying attention to anybody else, man.
Absolutely. And like I said, I think if he is successful when he gets to the main roster, it has a lot to do with being homegrown. And Vince, Alexa, Braun, or probably a couple other guys that you can point at that came through
Now, do you
Sonya Deville, I believe, came through the same Tough Enough class as Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
Velveteen Dream.
Miz was
The Miz, all people who lost that show.
Yeah.
Look at them now and look at the winners, you know. Says a lot.
Yeah.
Again, to my point, man, like when you want something enough and you have the passion and drive enough, like you're gonna get through. If people tell you no, you're gonna break through eventually. As you've seen with these people who lost tough enough and look where they are now, you know, versus the people who, you know, for whatever reason were chosen or whatever. Not to hate on them or anything, but it's like, okay, fuck it, I'm hating them. They were chosen for their looks or whatever they have, whatever, and you know what? It didn't pan out for them, you know?
You gotta want it, dude. You gotta want it. Might fail the first time, but you gotta want it. You gotta put in the work. And, you know, a lot of those guys we just mentioned have.
Because you had, I forgot the other guy's name, ZZ or whatever the hell his name was. Guy had charisma, had everything, whatever, but he had no passion for it, man. He had no drive, honestly. And it showed every time, and they gave him chance after chance after chance. And look what happened, man. Dude's out of WWE now, and you have these guys who didn't win, like a Velveteen Dream, whatever. Didn't let that stop them. Didn't let, you know, certain legends telling him that he's not charismatic or wasn't gonna make it, as like what Hulk Hogan said about him, just putting them down or whatever, and not letting that stop you. If you could learn anything from watching wrestling, I guess, or just listening to this podcast, which you should listen to this podcast regardless, but if you learn anything, it's that you know what, sometimes in life people are going to tell you no, they're going to tell you you can't make it, whatever, but you know what, all you can do is say, you know what, fuck it, I got the passion, I got the drive, I know what I'm about, I know what I can do, I know what I'm capable of. I'm going to go out there, and you know what? If you have to prove it to them, whatever. But if you have to prove it to yourself, all the same, And look what happens. You are here at NXT TakeOver Toronto, and still retaining your North American title.
And we might know what it'll look like with Vince, too. There's a lot of rumors going around right now with NXT going live 2 hours, and a rumor that started today that Vince is going to start trying to put his fingerprints on it if that happens. And I kind of believe that one because, Vince, dude, if it's going to be live on TV, Vince is going to have to be there. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
I don't see Vince.
We could only hope for the best, right?
But there's two sides of it, too. Vince, as much as you can say what you want about him, but at the end of the day, he's still a smart businessman. And, I mean, there's no denying the success NXT is, and I don't know, even Vince being as controlling as he is, wants to fuck with that, especially if it's going to be your competition to the new guys. Like,
right.
If it's working, why touch it?
It's just one of those guys who can't help himself, they got that ego. But, like you said, despite all that, it's still a guy who knows how to run a TV show, It's still a guy who's been here for this long for a reason,
I mean, he beat WCW. It didn't take much.
To be
TNA
fair,
tried to go back, and
I think
less of the week.
Since I grew up a WCW guy, and to be fair, I feel like WCW did it to themselves.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't all Vince. Don't get me wrong. There was definitely some WCW moments.
It hurts me to say it, but I feel like WCW would have collapsed regardless of WWF.
Yeah, but...
And then, same thing with TNA. Just did it to themselves, man.
I mean, there's a lot. You can go back. The finger poke of doom. The incident where Vince Russo made Kevin Nash lay down, and what pay-per-view was that? Vince, or not Vince, but Hogan. Nash laid down, Hogan pinned him and all that. Like I said, I was like 4-year-old at that time, so I don't know all the specifics. But yeah, you can go back and...
It's one of those things like you don't know at the time, but then, later on as everything gets revealed, you're like, that explains a lot,
Yeah. And, when Turner tried to... Turner sure didn't help when they tried to have their corporate guys run it instead of guys actually run a business. So.
And, history repeats itself. You had WWE not long ago, most of their writers were reality TV show writers or like soap opera writers who had no business being in the wrestling thing. And you saw how bad. That's around the era when they used to have those celebrity guests on Raw and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Terrible. Just night and day from what we got here on NXT TakeOver, man. This is pure, just what you want out of wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I said, at the end of the day, Vince is still a very good businessman. He knows his financials, and, obviously, it would take a real egomaniac, and he is an egomaniac, don't get me wrong, but it had to take a very, very egomaniac to go fuck with the best thing he got going when, like, he...
You know what?
Instead of the main roster, his main roster, he's confident enough into this NXT to put that against AEW. Like, that's saying something, isn't it?
Well, I just think it's more of it's a business move, more of a demographic move. There's a certain type of fans that are behind AEW, which are the same type of fans that are over NXT. He knows that those fans are different from the main roster fans, so to put your main roster fans versus those type of fans, you're not going to win that fight because it's already two different things, you know?
That is true, but he also knows it's two very different production styles. I mean, and creative styles. And I don't know. Like I said, he is an egomaniac, and he might go down there and get 100% control and fuck it all up. I hope to God that's not true.
You know what?
He's the best man that got going.
You know what? This might be a hot take, but low key, I kind of want him to get involved with NXT and all that stuff. I kind of low key want him to fuck it all up, only because that's the only way it's gonna get through to his head to get, you know, stay away from NXT. Let business do what it's doing, you know. The only way he's gonna snap out of it is to see the shit fail and be like, there's no one to blame but himself, you know.
I don't know. I'm starting to think. I mean, if you look at here lately, he's starting to realize that, though. I mean, USA had to make him a list of stuff to try, and you know, he brought in Bischoff and Heyman. And a couple of weeks ago, it was Heyman writing 90% Raw, and he just changed like 2 small details. So he's here lately. He's getting better. I mean, he's still Vince McMahon. Don't get me wrong. But he's learning to...
Night and day from how he runs his shit to how Triple H is running here. This NXT TakeOver, man.
Absolutely.
Like,
and Triple H needs to keep doing what he's doing, and Vince don't need to touch it.
Just look at the matches we've had so far, man. With Street Profits, Undisputed Era, Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, man. Just Velveteen Dream, Pete Dunne, Roger Strong. Just look at how that whole card played out up until that point, dude. It's not even close, man. Like,
it's phenomenal. Those first 3 matches were phenomenal.
Yeah, man. Which brings us to what was our next match over here?
Oh, it wasn't a bad match, but it was definitely the least entertaining match. Mia Yim versus Shayna Baszler.
Least entertaining? What?
Oh, you liked the match? Okay.
I am never gonna slander the name of Shayna Baszler and Mia Yim. All right.
It was a good match. It was a good story match.
Okay.
I'll put it that way.
No. Say what you mean. Mean what you say. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, the story of their feud is Mia being from the streets, playing a little dirty, and throughout the match, she did that with the hair, with the eye poke, with the. She did something else too.
I didn't see anything but a wrestling match. I don't know what you're talking about.
I remember what it was. The boots to the face, like grinding her boots on top of it. It was during a submission, like just grinding her boots on top of Shayna's face. And plus the working the arm, like the finish. Shayna's arm's destroyed. She can't even hold her submission, so she has to use her legs to sink that in. I mean, it was a good story match, and I'm a story guy. I enjoyed that. But I could definitely tell if you're not a story guy and you're one of these high spots, blah, 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 you know, fast-paced matches, this is probably your least entertainment match of the night. And on my Twitter, at least, on my timeline, that was the consensus.
Here we go. Wrestling fans are so fucking fickle. So fickle.
I mean, it was still a good match. I'm not... on an NXT TakeOver where there's 5 matches, and 4 of them are very good matches, the main event being on another level, there's nothing wrong with being that. I mean, it was still a good match. Like, if you're on the main roster and there's 12 matches and you're the worst match of the night, okay, you should feel bad about yourself. But on the NXT TakeOver, when it's great top to bottom, I've never seen a bad TakeOver. I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed of.
Listen, man, you start off your statement with all these accusations about Mia Yim allegedly poking eyes, allegedly pulling hair. I saw none of that. I don't know what you're talking about. That's above me. That's above me. All right.
It's fun story.
What I saw was Mia Yim had a game plan. You know, something happened to Shayna Baszler's people. I don't know. I didn't see They didn't show up. You know, that I don't know what happened. I don't know. Who knows? Nobody knows. But we have, you know, Shayna Baszler ain't been the one to play nice all the time. So, you know what? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You know.
I mean, it happens. It happens.
And honestly, this is probably the closest Shayna's been to losing in a long time.
Man, I'm shocked she did.
Dude, like, you had it, man. She hit that cold blue from the top turnbuckle. Like,
oh, yeah, that was fantastic.
who does that shit?
That takes balls, not just from Mia, but from Shayna. Like, you over-rotate 2 inches, and you got a broke neck. I mean,
that was...
when that happened, I was like, But, I mean, not just from, you know, the storyline and match and Mia being so close, but, you know, what else is left for Shayna to do in NXT?
You know what? Now seeing that Mia Yim wasn't the one, I'm fully behind Bianca Belair being the one to finally topple her down.
Oh, yeah, Belair. I forgot. Yeah, we're naming names there. I forgot about Belair. Yeah, she's there too, and that would be good. But, like, you gotta do it soon, right? Shayna's 39 years old. I mean, if you're gonna do a lot with her on the main roster, you should probably pull that trigger pretty soon.
You know what? I honestly thought they would have called her up heading up towards last WrestleMania, so they can get their freaking 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen type thing, you know?
Yeah.
But
I think
didn't seem like that was. Yeah, so like, I have honestly, if not this next WrestleMania, then I don't know when.
Don't get me wrong, everybody has to get caught up, I guess.
To be fair, Shafir and Jessamine Duke are fairly new to wrestling, whatever. So this year is probably the best for them learning, you know, because they're just barely getting into it, transitioning over from MMA, you know. So I've probably calling them up, all of them up that early it wouldn't have been right, wouldn't have looked good. Now that they have more experience, I think we're gonna head towards that. This WrestleMania, now that especially now that Rousey's a heel and everything.
Yeah, I don't know. Just for, like I said, she's 39. If you're gonna get a lot of leads on, like, a lot of time on the main roster, and you know it's really not that big of a deal if you're just gonna bring her up for the 4 horsemen stuff and not have much single stuff, I guess, because you can kind of rotate their matches in there. But calling her up 40 years old, and can't have a lot of, I don't know.
Well, to be fair, with not even, I don't even think her age is a factor at this point. Like, just her in-ring style, her technical style, whatever. Those type of styles tend to go longer than most styles, you know.
I think another reason why I'm kind of hung up on age, like we talked about before, the grind on NXT is a lot different than the main roster. Like, when she goes up to the main roster, she's gonna, instead of wrestling, when they do a TV taping a month, and then I think 1 or 2 little 2-3 night road trips for house shows, but I mean, it like triples on the main roster, probably more than that. Like, I just think that's a lot of getting used to on a 40-year-old body. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you have wrestlers up there who are barely into their 30s and they're like 14-time world champions already, you know?
Yeah. I'm just
Charlotte.
I just think they have like miles on the legs, I guess. You know what I mean?
I guess, but I mean, I'm not gonna sell her short, dude. Like, she's put in the work. I feel like she could do it.
Oh yeah, she can definitely do it. I don't know.
You're being ageist, man. You're being ageist.
Like I said, if it's just the 4 horsemen thing, then it's a lot easier. But like 5 years down the line,
You don't see them doing this 4 horsewomen thing, and then eventually they turn on each other. Now you got Rousey switched over to babyface versus a heel Baszler up on there. You don't see them milking that.
I don't know. Maybe. Wait, New Day's still together, so.
And there will always will be. I don't want to hear anything else from anybody.
I mean, it's rare, but they keep people together sometimes.
Thank you. They do not need to be broken up. Let me say it louder for the people in the back. They do not need to be broken up. I don't want to hear that shit from y'all anymore.
I would kind of like to see a Big E kick Kofi.
Oh my fucking god. No, we don't need that.
4 months. Yeah,
oh my god. Y'all always want every freaking team to break up the same fucking way, hit the jealousy angle, blah blah blah. You had your 11 years. What about me? Blah 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 blah. It's just regurgitated Dolph Ziggler all over again.
No, in all seriousness, I love the New Day, but I do feel like Big E has to get a run, like somewhere down the line.
And why can't he get a run on his own without breaking up? Huh?
I mean, he can. He can.
I'm just saying, like. Just because things have been the way they have been for so long doesn't mean they can't change. You know what I mean?
I mean, like I said, I hope they stay together. I love the New Day, but
I don't believe you, but yeah.
Eventually, Vince is like, split up. God damn it! Ah.
That impression, though. Yeah, that reminds me, like. Murillo was hit. He had a lot of lines, but no more lines that he hit. And this, which was our main event, Gargano versus Cole. Mauro Ronaldo was in rare form, but my favorite line of the night was when he turned into Frieza from Dragon Ball Z, talking about this sinister structure. Like, what the fuck was that?
Like, he had everything in this. He referenced that. He referenced the Dante's Inferno. He referenced
he had Dante's Inferno.
Instagram stories. Like, every reference that you can think of. Morrow had it.
He referenced Drake. He referenced Nas. Dante's Inferno. The Toronto Raptors. Vladimir Guerrero from the Toronto Blue Jays. Like,
yes, I forgot about that one.
He hit every Canadian reference you could possibly think of into this match.
I can't remember what happened. He's like, it lasts longer than an Instagram story. I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro. I was like, call it.
It's like he had that written down, but he didn't know how to get there. So he's just like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna say it. Fuck it."
Yeah, I love Burrow. Like, he's my number one announcer, but God, he can get over the top sometimes. But like we were talking about before the show, it don't take you away like Michael Cole makes you roll your eyes. You're still entertained.
Because you could tell he at some point, sometimes when he says all this shit, he's just having fun with it. I just feel like he's just fucking with us. I forgot what he said at a certain point. Like, he just started cracking up at some shit he said himself. Like, he couldn't help but laugh at it.
Like, the best, I love after the takeovers and they released the Murrow footage where they just keep the camera on him for his big reaction.
Yes.
Like, that's the best videos.
Because that's pretty much all of us watching it. You know, that's our reaction watching these takeovers. You know, that's a genuine love for what you're watching, you know?
Oh my God! Like, it's great.
I love it. But yo, this match starts 2 out of 3 falls. Starts off, first of all, regular straight match. And this could have just been the main event alone by itself. This just first fall was they did so much in this first fall, man. Like, you thought, okay, they're not gonna have anything left after this shit.
Yeah, it went a long time. I mean,
it was like almost 20 minutes, 25 minutes, almost 30 minutes the first fall.
Yeah, it went a long time. I mean, it wasn't. I know we were complaining not too long about the unrealistic way the main roster brought these matches out. No, there was nothing. I mean, it was 30 minutes, like you said.
30 minutes, man. Like, it starts off with a back and forth. Like, okay, they both had on the same page type of thing, counter for counter for counter. At a certain point, just canceling each other out. Hitting the mix-ups, cross-ups, or whatever. It's just back and forth. Okay, who's gonna make the first mistake? And I believe it was Cole who had the upper hand in this at the beginning of this match, and then it just sprawled outward to the ring. Like, it was just everywhere, man. I don't even know, what was your best spot? Which was your favorite moment in this first fall?
The fucking finish, dude.
Nice logic. Like, okay, the next match is a street fight, so fuck it, I'm just gonna blast him with a chair.
Like, I have flashbacks to 2003's Iron Man match of Brock and Kurt. That was the first fall. The match started. There was a little offense. Then Brock went and got a chair and beat the fuck out of Kurt Angle.
Yes.
Yeah, he lost the fall, but by God, he beat the hell out of them, F5'd them, pinned them, where it won a piece with 50 minutes to go, and it's a game. Like, the logic of that, I thought was great.
It's just smart writing, man. Like, so Gargano, who, I didn't do it in the prediction, but I said I predicted it somewhere else. I said, watch this dude come out as Wolverine, because he does a lot of Marvel references with his gear, right? And
every one of them. Yeah.
Every one of them, and each gear that he wears, each Marvel character he represents, whatever, fits into his character in the moment he is in the story. When he was, on the heel side of things, he was the Dark Spider-Man. The symbiote Spider-Man. His rise was the Dark Phoenix. He had the Iron Man. Everything fit in with what he was doing. So I was like, okay, this dude has nothing to lose at this point. He can't be broken. He can't be beaten. No matter how many times you beat him down, he's gonna get up. I says, watch this fucking dude come out as fucking Wolverine. And sure enough, comes out in the classic blue and gold Wolverine gear, and it looked fucking sick, man. He had the claw tears, shredded tears in the chest bar. Man, that was a dope ass gear.
And I loved his reaction after he got disqualified.
Yeah, he was just like, okay.
He looked at the camera, smiled, and put his arms up like, aha! I mean,
and just fucking started wailing on Cole, dude. Man. And his action sprawls out into the crowd. It's going everywhere, man. Like,
man, it was great. And the street fight was good too. I think the street fight was shorter than the first fall.
Yeah, because it was pretty much just Gargano just whooping Cole's ass.
Yeah,
at one point, to come back, he just basically dives at him, and they go through the barricade.
Now that was my one complaint. That looked terrible.
It was probably the camera angle that they shot it from. I feel like if they would have shot it from a more of a straightforward angle, you wouldn't have seen so much of the prop, I guess.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think they just...
You feel like it's overdone? You feel like that barricade...
I just felt like they wouldn't it wasn't like a spear for it where you could see a lot of contact. It looked like he just jumped and Adam caught him like he was coming off a suicide dive or something.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't look worrying enough to go through a barricade. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't hit him hard enough for me to go for the barricade.
Right.
Like, it was. You could tell it was barely, like, not even really connected. Like, it was.
Yeah.
You went there and pushed it over.
I think it would have benefited from a different camera angle. So it would have made it give it more impact and more depth. And you wouldn't see the damn barricade, like, not even screwed in, just...
Yeah, like, I felt like watching that, I could just go there and push it over.
Which is why every time you see them go through that part of the barricade, it's always from a front angle, so that the barricade is face up, you don't see the screws or anything. They shot this from the back, so now you see it fall, face down, you see that it's not screwed on, you see all that stuff. Just the camera angle does a lot for it. For that type of spot.
Well, too, it's usually like a believable thing, like a Roman Reigns or Goldberg spearing somebody, not like a 190-pound guy doing a crossbody.
You know what? But regardless, he hits that spot, Cole's out of it, throws him back into the ring, and just, more shit happens, and then he's just like, you know what? I'm gonna make this dude. He made him tap out, right? I think.
Yeah, and it was a good callback to her first match in the first two or three
Exactly.
falls. Adam tapped out immediately to save himself from more damage. So that was a good callback. It was kind of logical, like, Gargano getting that DQ. Why sit there and fight it for 2 minutes when you can just tap, be tied, and have another match, It's a street fight, too. There's no rope break.
And there was one moment they before they even did all that stuff, I believe he threw him over on the side where the ring announcers are.
Yeah.
They almost took out my girl Alicia Taylor over there. She had to duck and dive out of the way. They were just throwing each other everywhere, man. Like, and if you look on the far left side, you see the Spanish commentators just dive over the damn barricade, whatever, just to get out of the way. This street fight was just like going everywhere, man. And like you said, dude, callback again. Not just the 2 out of 3 falls match, but like if you pay attention to these, if you like these type of things, you like to pay attention to details, stories, and all that. There's a lot of things they did in the first fall and in this street fight, referencing their past fights. The story.
And NXT does a phenomenal job of that.
Yeah, like you could legit. I'm surprised no one has done this yet. You can legit make an entire like channel or like YouTube video, whatever. You could make a whole documentary just looking back at all the little details and how they connected to the story, and it's not even just this match. It's most of these matches in general. Everything like is well thought of,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, any long feud, they always bring out the callbacks and continue and plug them in.
And
that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
NXT, storytelling. I love callbacks. Like small callbacks like that. I love it.
You had Gargano say before this takeover, like he wants NXT to be, how everybody wants to be called up, everyone wants to be on the big show, whatever, right? He wants NXT to be that. He wants people to be like, I want to go to NXT, and then he's like, I've won my championships, I've lost my championships, whatever, and I walk through these halls and I see all these other wrestlers that used to be here and everything, but like, and then I see guys like Shawn Michaels come back, whatever, and how Shawn Michaels was known as Mr. WrestleMania. He wants to be known, he wants to be that for NXT takeovers, and man.
And I truly believe that too. Like NXT has such a feel, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like, if you go back and watch, like the Ciampa series on YouTube, the WWE PC, we talked about it in the chat, you can tell these guys' love for NXT is real. Yeah. Like, there's a special bond, and it's obvious.
And you see that sometimes when they get called up, it's like you don't, like you're happy to leave, but you're sad at the same time that you're leaving, Yeah.
And I think that's what it's kind of feeling like. You see all these bonds and friendships, and they just come for the camera at you. Like, you could tell it's genuine.
And that translates onto the screen, and no more so than this main event. Just all the freaking everything that Cole and Gargano brought to this. And Cole, I was surprised. I gotta be honest. I was surprised at the reaction he got just from his entrance alone. Like, people were really, really behind Adam Cole, man.
Oh, yeah. And, it's kind of funny. My wife, I had my brother over. He watched it. He watches takeovers and the big four pay-per-views usually. He'll probably be back over tomorrow. My wife was watching. And usually I watch by myself because if nobody comes over, I go to the bedroom and watch, and she's in here. But it was kind of funny because right when toward the end of this second fall, she looked at me and she said, "Who's supposed to be the bad guy?"
Right?
Yeah. And it's really, Adam Cole's really loved. As much as the reaction of that was kind of bigger, but like, it's always like the chance for Adam, and boom, man, on that entrance.
Yeah, man. Like as much as he tries, like people are not gonna boo him, but he's not gonna be your babyface, you know.
No, and you know I love Adam Cole too because like you could tell when he makes his entrance, and especially now he's champ, like these matches with Gargano and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't seem cowardly when he gets in the ring. He seems ready to fucking go. You know?
Yeah.
Like
a lot of the times, you see these guys who are supposed to be playing heel, whatever, typically end up going the cowardly heel route. You know, not the okay, I'm the bad guy, whatever, but I'm still gonna fuck you up. You know?
Yeah, and Adam backs it up too. Like even when he won the title, he did it by himself, no interference, none.
True.
You can.
That's true.
And tonight, no interference. None.
Well, you really couldn't, because first of all, I don't know how they hid this, but so we get to the third fall.
Well, they didn't hide it. I knew it was a cage, but I didn't know the weapon and stuff. But if you got on Twitter before the show,
well, see, I don't go on Twitter before the shows. I like to have a fresh mind, first view on everything. So I wasn't like
they had
spoiled for everything, you know.
You could tell there's a black tarp around some kind of cage. You
Well,
couldn't really see what kind of cage it
for
was.
us who like to enjoy shit as we're seeing it, there was no mentioned anything about a cage, you know.
I don't know. I actually, if you didn't watch the pre-show, did you?
No, nothing usually happens at an NXT pre-show.
Okay. Well, the kind of squashed the Twitter hate I got going over here. Right at the end of the pre-show, Regal announced it.
No. Well,
he announced it right at the end of the pre-show. So going into the show, if you watched the pre-show, you knew what it was, too.
well, it goes to show a lot of people still don't watch pre-shows. So, I had no idea.
I only watched the last 20 minutes of the pre-show.
I had no idea there was a cage. All of a sudden, I see that barbaric structure come down from the heavens. And first,
entertaining. You gotta say it like Mario, dude. You gotta play it.
that satanic structure descends from the heavens. Okay, so you smarty pants. Okay, I knew about the cage. Okay, but did you know that there was gonna be a fucking ladder, a table, fire extinguishers, all that shit, barbed wire?
Yep. Yeah, because if you watch the first show when Rico announced it, he didn't say what it was. He was like, I could tell you, but I'm going to show you. And it pretty much has the camera on the cage, and it shows all the weapon and the barbed wire.
What the fuck? All right.
Sorry, dude.
So
I busted your bubble, but sorry.
For us who just watched the show as is, no pre-show, no Twitter, no spoiler alerts. We didn't know this shit was coming, you know? So we see all this shit, dude. Reminds us of the Ambrose Asylum shit when they had all that stuff going on, whatever. But the way they did this match, man.
This was a much better version.
This was just vicious, man. This was just ugly. Like, who comes up with this shit? First of all, you know, this is insane, man. And then you think, okay, you just had a regular match, went 30 minutes. They had another street fight, which went about 15-20 minutes. What the hell is left, you know? And these guys just started this damn thing like as if it was the first match, man. Like, just hitting spots after spots, and just the brutality of everything just kept increasing and just getting more violent and more just vicious as both guys just wanted to win, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, both of these guys, there's no one else right now, I think, on the level of these two. And that's why I don't have a problem with these guys having 3 matches.
This is the kind of stuff we were getting with Ciampa and Gargano. Yeah, have a lot more story involved in it. But this, man, this was
just the stamina of these two guys. They can go out there and do this stuff.
This was just like, okay, you guys want to die tonight? Let's just do this.
And yeah, that's pretty much.
You had DDTs, like Cole's face went face first onto the top part of the chair. How he's not concussed, I have no idea.
And those kendo stick shots, Jesus Christ, by the way.
Candlestick shots, man. You had sledgehammers. You had.
And, oh my God, the sledgehammer!
Right.
Like my brother was sitting there, he's like, "Dude, I would shit if he turned around and swung at it like a baseball bat." And I'll be damned. 2 minutes later, like I don't think they meant to get as much on that sledgehammer shot as he did. He knocked the hell out of him.
Yeah, he was a little bit winded after that. Yeah,
like, that was brutal.
You had Canadian or Panama Sunrise / Canadian Destroyers off the cage, off the ladder.
And they called it a Canadian Destroyer. Hell yes, Morrow with the win. Like, I hate when they do that on the main roster, and they're just like, ooh, what a maneuver.
On the main roster, they don't like to say the names. Oh, well, even if you take it back, when Mauro Ranallo was commentating on SmackDown, and he was saying the names of the moves, you had, what's his name, the King over here, and JBL, just roasting him, basically calling him a nerd, blah, 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 just for saying the names of the moves. Like, what did he say?
Yeah, we don't know what happened with the JBL stuff. Jesus.
Like, he would say the Uranagi or the, what's that, I forgot the name of that move. The one, the Yugi Goroshi or whatever.
Yeah.
Different moves like that, and then you'd have King like, oh, what is that? My takeout or some corny ass joke or whatever the fuck. Just constantly trying to talk down on him just for loving what it is, whatever, you know? And
I think that's going to change. I mean, Fox wants the sports side feel, and I think that's going to...
Look, there is... I don't understand. Like, okay, wrestling is what it is, right? So present it as what it is. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's dumb. Why throw out the water maneuver like on a Canadian Destroyer? Or it's every time it's happened, like Ray does it with Andrade every fucking match. It never fails. But it's either water maneuver or...
Oh, what a slam. What a slam. Oh, no. He spiked him.
Oh, he spiked him.
Yeah.
That's it.
What a throw.
Just call it Canadian Destroyer. Jesus Christ.
I feel like the people up there that are in charge of this shit, dude, like, I legitimately feel like they hate that they're in the wrestling business, but it's what's getting the money, so they're gonna keep doing it, even though they fucking hate it.
And then again, with, like you said earlier, I mean, it wasn't too long ago they was hiring reality TV show writers. Right. They might not even know, the guys that's over that might not even know what the moves are called themselves. And they're like, well, you can't say it because it makes us sound dumb.
Yeah, this is so many things, dude. So when Mauro Ranallo he straight up says the names, whatever, it just gives it more legitimacy. It makes it feel more what you're watching is sports like, more validated, you know?
Absolutely.
And then like I didn't know how exactly they were gonna use this ladder. And so they start setting up tables. I'm like, okay, someone's gonna jump from that top table they had set up on the top of the cage, and then they go to the bag, which I thought was gonna be thumbtacks or whatever. I thought, oh, they're gonna throw thumbtacks over these tables and then just kill themselves from the cage.
And I love the fact that it wasn't thumbtacks.
He gets just first of all, nice touch adding that bag full of brass knuckles. Shout out to William Regal.
No. Well, yes, actually, I didn't think about that one. But just the fact that it's something you wouldn't expect. Like, if you're watching WWE, if there's a bag out, it's thumbtacks.
Right.
I mean, you know it. No questions asked.
So he
but
gets...
for one, it wasn't.
He gets some fucking wire cutters. Like, what the fuck is he gonna do with that? The last time we saw wire cutters, it was the whole Triple H Batista thing. Like, I don't think Adam Cole has any piercings unless it's, you know, on his dick or something. I don't fucking know.
Oh, what an image that would be.
So then, like, freaking get Gargano and just starts climbing the cage and starts clipping off the barbed wire. I'm like, what the fuck is he gonna do with that? Like, he's seriously gonna end this man's life. I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna wrap it around his fist over the brass knuckles and just knock him the fuck. Or he's gonna wrap it around. I thought, what a fucking image if he just wraps it around Cole's mouth, pulls on it as he's doing his Gargano escape or his submission move, and pulling back on his face with the barbed wire through his mouth. I thought, well, they're not going to become that fucking violent. There's no fucking way they're going to do that. So they start brawling, whatever. You see from the camera angle, you see Cole realize what Gargano's doing as he's cutting the cage. So he's like, fuck that, I'm out. Starts climbing the cage, starts climbing the ladders. Goes to the top of the top table that's positioned up on the top of the cage. Gargano goes chasing him. They start brawling up there. I'm like, what the fuck are these guys gonna do? Like, what is about to happen? I legitimately had to stand up. Like, I'm like, okay, these guys are gonna die right now. This is gonna be fucking bad.
The crowd's out there chanting, "Please don't die."
This is gonna be bad. And these moments are what you live for as a wrestling fan. Like, those moments that make you feel like, holy shit, what the fuck is about to happen, you know? Like, you have no fucking idea how this is gonna go down. And they just fall off the top of the cage. Like, okay, you had a table to break the fall, whatever, but that did not look like it did not hurt. You know what I mean?
Well, actually, they had two tables to break the fall, but they missed.
They missed one fucking table. Like, barely got the other one. They basically went off the cage straight into the fucking mat, man.
Yeah, it was. I think Mario said it was a 20-foot drop. So,
which, if you guys haven't been to a live show or seen these cages, whatever, the camera doesn't do it justice. When I went to the TakeOver in Chicago, usually it looks like, okay, the ladders are not that big, whatever. But when you're there, standing there, watching it in person, those ladders are fucking up there, man. It's a long fucking drop. I could only imagine what a cage looks like when you're up there, up and close, you know? The perspective of the camera just does not do justice of how high they really are up there, you know? And how fucking hard they fell straight into the fucking mat.
Oh, that's mad. Oh, yeah, the ladder. I thought you was going on the Gargano and Cole. I was about to say, yeah, they slammed that mat.
Yeah, dude, like, they just went straight into like, I don't think Gargano opened his eyes once after he fell. Like, he's just like, fuck, this is my life. Like, just like, he was out. And then you had Cole who had just enough energy to just turn around and wrap his arm around Gargano for the 1, 2, 3, and still your NXT champion, Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah, some people hated the finish, also. And the argument was kind of what I said earlier about the choreograph thing. But I didn't take this that way. I took it as these guys have beat the hell out of each other. I mean, these guys have been fighting for, 5 months now? 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
This is the end of the line.
Yeah, this is it, man.
We're both going off this fucking cage.
Yeah. And
that's the way I took it.
And it was wrestled for almost past an hour, you know? Like, there's no way you can position yourself to fall from like that and have Cole already on top of Gargano as they land for the 1, 2, 3. There's no fucking way you can realistically do that. You know?
These guys beat the hell out of each other for an hour. They was up there.
And look at,
all right,
we're
going down. Whoever can move is going to win. That's it. This is how we're going to end this shit.
Typical fucking fickle wrestling fans. Y'all got a 2 out of 3 falls. Amazing fucking match. And y'all
3 stages of hell.
3 stages of hell. Something you only see in fucking video games, like a SmackDown versus Raw or some shit. You haven't seen that shit in years.
Here comes the pain.
Here comes the pain. You haven't seen this shit in years. You get all this stuff and you still find something to complain about? Y'all have a seat somewhere, man. Y'all are tripping. This match was fucking insane, man.
It was. I mean, it was brutal.
It was violent. It was like everything you could fucking want in a wrestling match, man. Like, gave you everything.
If you looked at these guys' bodies, there's bruises all over them. Cole's back was fucked up.
Cole had a fucking hole in the middle of his forehead, just bleeding out. I don't know what the fuck that was from.
Yeah, and like I said, his back was fucked up. Gargano had welts all over him. I mean, these guys gave it their all tonight. And me, as a fan, thank you. I mean, shit, what a ride they put me on.
Look, you had a story from beginning to end. Like, this, what more do you want from wrestling, yo? What more do you want from me? Like, this is fucking, like, I'm telling you, I'm still in that hype mode. Like, what the fuck did I just see? You know, like, this shit is what wrestling should fucking be. You know, we got fucking AEW over there doing their shit. We had Impact fucking kill it. Triple Mania was amazing. Like, everybody's stepping their fucking game up, you know? I hope SummerSlam tomorrow steps it up just as well. Because what we're seeing from now is all these fucking wrestling promotions. Everybody's stepping the game up. Everybody is giving you quality fucking wrestling. So, I'm not saying y'all shouldn't complain, but be a little grateful sometimes, you know? Y'all don't know how lucky y'all are to have all this much fucking wrestling, and for people to be this invested and this show this much passion into what they're doing as we got in this fucking main event.
And, you know, I always say this too. I mean, I do critique wrestling, don't get me wrong, I do. I'm not, you know, innocent of that. But at the end of the day, I want to be entertained as a fan. And I try my best to do that. And I think that's a huge problem with today, man. Everybody just wants to be critics. They don't watch it as a fan, just want to be entertained. They just watch it to see what shit can I complain about.
You know, I've said it once, I'll say it again. This is not everybody, because there's a lot of cool-ass people that I've met just interacting with people on Twitter. Like, I didn't know, first of all, I'm new to wrestling Twitter. Like, I've been a wrestling fan forever, never been on Twitter. I didn't know there was that many dope-ass people that watch wrestling on fucking Twitter. So many, first of all, there's like 200-something podcasts out there. And the majority of them are actually pretty good. I can go on the whole list of people, you know, there's so many fucking good ones out there that y'all should listen to. But there's still that select few of that old guard that just won't let it go. And I've said it before. There's certain wrestling fan, like for the wrestling fan, nobody hates wrestling more than some certain wrestling fans, man. Y'all claim to be fans, but y'all hate what the fuck you're watching. Y'all love to hate what you're watching, you know.
And they hate other fans too. There's a certain group of
and you hate other fans, Twitter. You know. So,
like, if you disagree with somebody, a lot of people, like, I mean, the other day I seen somebody have a different opinion of Dolph Ziggler, and somebody was like, I hope something bad happens to your kid. What the fuck?
Yeah, see, that's the shit we gotta change, you know. We already as wrestling fans, we're kind of the outcasts, you know. We're kind of those, oh, why you like that shit? That shit's fake, blah, blah, blah. We've all heard that shit before.
Yeah, tell Gargano and Cody that shit's fake.
Yeah, like, we as wrestling fans are already out there, you know. So for us to be fucking fighting with each other over different opinions or just being so fucking toxic and all that shit, and just in general on any social media and just in life in general, you know. I've seen I've seen a lot of these, like, for example, all these wrestling podcasts. From what I've seen and what I've interacted with people, there's no fucking toxicity, no hate. Everybody wants to see everybody grow. We all love what the fuck we're watching, you know? And that's what we need more in this wrestling, just as a community in whole in general. Just take a look at it. I encourage y'all, go check out one of these podcasts. Go check out, you know, Heels Pops the Chair Shots, Queen of Any, Brainbuster Radio, Get Your Podcast. Like, just, I can go on and on and on and on. There's so many people out there doing some good shit. And not that it's all like, oh, we're all positive and blah, blah, blah. No, it's just general good shit without that fucking negativity, without that toxicity. You can criticize without being negative. And there's a lot of people out there doing that shit. Despite all that, and I guess we'll start to close things out here in a bit. Despite all that, I honestly believe that there's a lot more positive shit on Twitter. That's just so much more positive with wrestling and in general, just in wrestling in general, especially with fans, that as loud as the negativity is, the positivity is louder. And sometimes we hear more of the negativity and we lose sight of how much good people and just good shit in general there is with wrestling people, you know. And I think we should focus on that and not give. acknowledge that there's fucking negativity, but at the same time not give it the power to ruin the power of positivity. You know what I mean? Despite all that fucking shit, we went off on a little rant here, but despite all that shit, NXT TakeOver, my God, what a fucking show.
Oh, absolutely. Great show. I wouldn't put it up toward the best takeovers, but I was still... And that's sad. Like, not sad, it's great, but it takes a lot. It takes like a perfect show to be toward the top of the takeovers.
Well, they set the...
And that's insane.
The bar is set so high for takeovers.
Yes. Like, the main event was up there. Like, you could argue. I saw somebody say it was better. And I probably would agree, also. Just because I'm not as into New Japan stuff. Saw some Okada and Omega comparisons.
Well, no. Well, first of all, like, those matches are once in a lifetime. Like, you're not going to see any other match like that ever again. Like, those were once in a lifetime matches. That's a whole other, like, category on its own. But
and I might feel that way just because I don't know the story behind it and stuff. I can't get New Japan World to work with my bank for some reason. I've called my bank about it. I want New Japan World, but I just can't do it. So I'm mostly just watching the big shows, Dominion, Wrestle Kingdom, and shit like that online. I don't get to actually follow the builds, and that might be why I feel like that. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I'm a story guy.
Well, if I understood the story at Omega and Okada, like if I understood all the callbacks and stuff like we talked about earlier, then it might be, I will send you some links. I forgot his name, and I'm slipping my mind right over. There's this guy. He did a good video essay about just their whole story and all the callbacks and the moments in the matches, and just he broke it down completely. I'll share that to you in a bit. But yeah, again, as you said, there's talking about New Japan. There's so much wrestling out there, man. And honestly, for me, finally being part of this whole wrestling community and everything like that. What I look forward to most after these shows, whatever, is just seeing what other podcasts, other people have to. I like hearing people's opinions and shit because everyone has a different take on it. So having said that, you want to close this out?
Oh God.
Have some final words for the people.
Me doing the final words, dude?
Yeah, man. I believe in you.
Right.
I believe in you.
Well, I don't. But here we go. Like you said, love seeing everybody's feedback. I can't go to sleep early after any wrestling show. I love going through the timeline, seeing your guys' opinion. As far as TakeOver, it was great. Great show. This may be the last time we see it in this format with all the rumors about going 2 hours and being live. Who knows what'll happen. But let's just keep it up. And it's still like, and fans, let's just enjoy the ride. This is a great time to be a wrestling fan with everything going on. AEW, NXT. Let's enjoy the ride together. And like I said, don't be negative. Let's just be fans and enjoy it.
Hell yeah, and this has been Smack Raw Pod with your boy Benji at Calavera Comedy and Sebastian at Wrestling Fan _83. 32. I fucked it up again. It was almost a perfect outro. Almost. Alright, man, well, we're gonna close it out. I fucked it up. I should have just kept my mouth shut, but whatever.
Oh, shit.